Welcome back to another edition of Running with James. Today, we're going to give you our full review of the On Cloud Go. Come run with me. Change your mind, change your life. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. If you're looking for a great podcast, check us out every Wednesday on the Running with James podcast. Myself, Rocky, Coach Lauren, we have a great time telling stories, talking training techniques, and all things wrapped around running, high rocks, and fitness. All right, guys, that's right. We're going to be giving you our full review of the On Cloud Go. Now, this is a daily trainer, really kind of an all-around shoe that you can use pretty much for anything, from short mileage to workouts, anything of that nature. Now, you guys know me from the past. I've never been a huge fan of the On brand, but here in the last year or so, they've really kind of stepped up their game, and I've been giving them another opportunity. So as usual, we'll start with the upper. We'll talk about the midsole, the outsole, everything in between, all of our likes and all of our dislikes. By the end of this video, you'll know if this is something you have to have or maybe something you should skip. Now, the upper is an engineered mesh upper. It has a standard lacing system, which I had zero problem getting a decent lockdown fit. Has plenty of additional overlays that offer additional lateral support. The heel counter pretty much is a standard heel counter. Has plenty of support in that heel counter, so it's a very significant heel counter. So I had no slippage, no rubbage whatsoever. I've had zero hot spots. In fact, I would say it's a very roomy upper, so plenty of room in the toe box. So the depth and the width of that toe box offers plenty of room for your toes to move around, but you're not sliding, so you don't have any hot spots, no blisters, anything of that nature. I use this shoe pretty much for a lot of my workouts that I've been doing. So I push a sled with it. I do deadlifts and squats and things of that nature, box jumps, and have had zero issues. I will say it's supposed to be a very breathable upper. I wouldn't say it's super breathable. It can get kind of warm on those hotter days, but it's breathable enough that you can, get some air in there, and it's not like the worst upper as far as that's concerned. But I will say that because it is a little thicker, right? It looks almost like it's a jacquard, like kind of weave or what have you. So it looks really cool. But I will say that because of the thickness of it, I feel like you're gonna last a little bit longer than maybe some of those thinner uppers would. So I like it. It works for what it's supposed to do. I have zero complaints about it. So thumbs up on the upper. All right, let's get into the midsole. Now, the midsole is On's Helion foam, and it has a TPU speed board wedged into that foam. Now, the Helion foam is basically like an EVA blend, so it's kind of like your traditional EVA, but just a little bit softer, a little more responsive. I'm not a huge fan of EVA. That's kind of old school in my opinion, which is probably why I've never been a fan of the On, because they've always just been so stiff in those midsoles. But I do find that this new Helion foam is a much softer, much more forgiving foam, and that coupled with the little hole things they put in there to give you that cloud effect, I feel like it does give you a little more bounce. It is more comfortable, much softer. Now, the TPU speed board basically is just it's like a mixture of plastic and rubber. So it's a plate basically that they have in there. This curved plate that's going in there is supposed to give you a little more snap, a little more support. And so it's not as stiff as say like a carbon board would be. So you've got some movement in there, and but I feel like especially for workouts, it gives you a little more stability, especially lateral stability for when you're lifting or things of that nature. So not super stiff, plenty of movement, plenty of pliability in there. But I will say that with the foam, it's not like the snappiest of foams, right? So it's comfortable enough, it's bouncy enough, but I probably would not do like more than like say a 5 or 6 mile run in this shoe, especially because, so the drop on this shoe is an 11 millimeter drop. So it's got 34 millimeter stack height in the heel and 23 stack height in the forefoot. So that heel isn't bad, but that forefoot is really kind of a little thinner. And so what I feel is when I'm doing those longer, when I've tried to do longer efforts, I found like my foot pad, right underneath, like right by your, the ball of your foot, I guess is probably a better way to put it, kind of gets worn out a little bit. So you kind of feel the impact because it is, like I said, that EVA blend. Faster paces, it feels good. Slower paces, it's fine. Definitely wouldn't do it for a long run. Probably, other than like doing short interval stuff in between like a HIIT workout, I probably wouldn't use it for speed work just because there's better options out there. But I found it comfortable. In fact, I wear this shoe quite a bit. So I wear this shoe a lot like during the day. So, you know, when I'm just walking around the gym, when I go and teach classes, things like that, I'm pretty much wearing this shoe almost every single day just because I do find it comfortable. And because it is a little stiffer foam, I find that I get a little more support when I'm not, because during the day I'm not looking for something super squishy, right? I want something that's going to support me and not wear my legs out. So I think just as an overall general, the midsole is good, not great, good. And I find myself wearing it quite a bit, especially when I'm wanting to do workouts. So the outsole is OnCloud's Cloud Tech rubber, right? So I guess it's a proprietary rubber that they use. It works great, right? I ran in wet, dry stuff. You heard me mention earlier, I push sleds with this thing and has no problem. So it's very grippy. The outsole itself, I think some of the past, like some of the shoes I tried before, like sometimes the like rocks and stuff get kind of caught up into the outsole. So it actually has a closed outsole, so you don't have that problem. So I haven't had any kind of like friends traveling along with me as I'm running and once I go outside and things of that nature. So outsole's great, does what it's supposed to do. It's sticky, it's a great rubber compound. I don't really see any kind of wear on it. I've put almost 100 miles on it total. Plus, like I said, I wear it pretty much every day, so I'm sure there's even more mileage than that on it, just from everyday wear. And the shoes held up really, really well. And the outsole's held up really, really well. So it's still sticky and does what it's supposed to do. So good job. So overall, what is our opinion of the OnCloud Go? Well, first of all, I would say it is a little bit heavy. It comes in about 10.5 ounces for my men's size 10.5. I think for men's size 9, it's right around 9.5 ounces or 200 and I think it was what, 263 grams. So it's a little on the heavier side, I feel like, for a daily trainer. And I'm not a huge fan of the drop. So like that 11 millimeter drop is a little higher than I like. I prefer more around the 8 to 6 millimeter drop. That way you can have a little more padding underneath the forefoot. But other than that, those are kind of like my only two like negatives I would say about the shoe. It is a comfortable shoe. I really like the upper. It's a great looking shoe too. I really like the look of the shoe, which is probably why I wear it. Well, one of the reasons why I wear it so much during the day. It's a shoe you can work out in. It's a shoe you can run fast in, slow in. I probably wouldn't do a ton of miles in it, but it's a shoe that's also gonna last. So I've had this shoe now, well, I've had it since Christmas. I got it as a Christmas present. So thanks, Gaga. So I got it as a Christmas present. So I've had it now for basically a little over 3 months. I have about, I think 75 miles on it or so, running miles actually. And so, which is pretty decent amount of mileage to put on a shoe without a ton of like stack or what have you, because I'm not running like the long mileage in it, right? So it's just a bunch of short little runs, workouts that I've been doing. So if you're looking for a shoe that is going to give you some decent wear, it looks good, you can do a ton of different things in it, I think the OnCloud Go is gonna be something you're really gonna like. At $149 is also not a bad price. So I think you're gonna get some good wear out of it. Like I said, I'm wearing this thing almost every single day just because I like the look of it and there's decent support on it. And like I said, you can get a lot of things. So for us, the OnCloud Go, it's a must have. All right, my friends, that is our review of the OnCloud Go. We thank you so much for dropping in. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. Please, please, please share it with your friends. We want to build this community and we need your help to do it. You can also support, become a member of the show, become a member of the podcast by visiting Patreon/Running with James. And we have memberships as low as $1. You can get additional content, additional podcast content as well, videos, all that great stuff. We also are offering some training things as well on the different tiers. So if you're looking for a good running program, good training program, you can get that simply by becoming a member. So we thank you guys once again for coming in. Remember, if you change your mind, you can change your life.